remember, but I was in a rock and roll band when I was in high school, and I've spent all my time in the band and no time doing the work. So, although I'd got an offer, I didn't get the qualifications. So I thought, well, arrogant, I can take them again next year, and I'd still got the place offered.
Oh, okay.
And so I joined IBM. I was very fortunate because they had introduced a new range of computers that were the 360 range that were very popular, and they couldn't find enough qualified engineers to do this. But I did an aptitude test,
Okay.
and I was chosen as a result of the aptitude test because I'd been doing all the electronics for the for the band, and I'd learned over the years. I started at 12, so I was the expert at all the electronics, and I found it easy to pass this exam without any qualifications. One of my granddaughters said, "What did you do, Grandpa, when you were at work?" And I, off the top of my head, said, "Oh, well, it's been two halves. In the first half, I taught people how to use computers and how the advantages of computers were. And the second half of my time, I was telling people not to use computers, or only when they were appropriate, not to just abdicate responsibility for decisions that you had to make." My history teacher from high school, he had a profound effect on me, and she was the first one that got me really interested in the past and how we stand on the shoulders of others. And I was in the second form, I think, 12 or something, and it was among my peer group, it was fashionable to be a complete bastard with this woman because she was young, and she was a female teacher, so all the boys gave her hell. But she persevered, and she actually, by doing a lesson how the pyramids were built, and what the problems they overcome, and she got me interested in A, teaching, and B, history, and C, doing something that you are not going to see the results of, and do it for the future. And that's really affected me all through my life. I've always wanted to thank her for waking me up to the value of education. And before she died, and she died a few weeks later, I managed to get a letter to her niece, and she read it.
Okay, great. That's
so there's so many things I learned from her that year. Problem solving, because she didn't just give me facts. She gave us problems to solve. How did they get the stone from this place to that place? You have to work with other people to get some of the answers, because and getting together in a group and discussing it and coming up with the idea. All the things it's governed my life since then. Once you have a stroke, 1/3 of the people who have a stroke do not survive. They're dead within 2 months. The other, another third, they give up and they slowly go downhill.
Mm-hmm.
But the remaining third are like me. They are continuously trying to do better, and at 66. I had my stroke at 73.
Okay.
So I'm now 77. So I've learned to do a lot with one hand. I firmly believe that the secret for a long life is to keep mentally active. I've had a good life, mainly because I'm always questing for new knowledge.
Yeah.
I want to know what makes things tick. I want to know what makes people tick. Don't give up. A good degree is always a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to have it. You can succeed without a degree.
Mm-hmm.
There are other ways. I found one way, but I was watching a program on the television last night that it was for children who are from a prison. They or they were troublemakers at school, and
Mm-hmm.
so they could do nothing with them. And this woman had set up a farm and just employed these kids on the farm, and she'd been doing it for several years, and many of them have gone into non-theoretical jobs. And one of them, I suppose he was the most successful. He is the shepherd for 5,000 sheep now, and he'd been written off as nothing. I mean, nothing. You're not an academic, and the school system emphasises academic achievement,
Mm-hmm.
and you do need academics, but you also need people who've got inquisitive minds and don't be put off by the fact that you find it hard to fit the model. You can always do something that you can always find something you enjoy. That's the first thing,
Mm-hmm.
and find something that you can get good at, and it doesn't matter what it is. I would, any way you can contribute, you should contribute and not just wait for it to be given to you.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a youngster, my father was a blue-collar worker, but he understood. He didn't have an education, but he understood
the importance
of an education in whatever. If you work with your hands, go and be an apprentice and learn a skill. I'm not religious, so I see to continue the species really,
Mm-hmm.
and to I live to sound religious. I live to enhance everybody's life, to make it a fairer environment for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and to really avoid the wasted talent
Mm-hmm.
that is out there. I see kids on the street that and with an aimless, no vision of what it is they're going to do. And I think that's a terrible waste of human capital. And that's what I live for. If my ideas live on me, that's an eternal life to me. I'm not a fairy with wings in the sky. I'm not going to. That doesn't dream. I live in my in the memories and the knowledge that I've given to my kids and their kids, and just to create something that will live beyond me. I mean, I've done several programs that are still being used in industry.